Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my everyday makeup drawer, going over my selections from March and making my new selections for April. Can't believe it's April already. I'm currently just getting over a cold that I've had for about 2 weeks, so my voice is still slightly croaky. God knows what it's going to be like by the end of this video, but fingers crossed it isn't too bad. I do have a few items that are kind of staples in my everyday makeup routine that I've had in here since January, so I'm not going to go into too much detail in here. I'm just going to pull those ones out first and just fly through them with a quick review, because if you've been watching these every month then you'll know my thoughts on them, and the fact they are still here, they are obviously staples in my collection. The first being the Benefit Goof Proof. This is the eyebrow pencil that I use every single day. Coming towards the end of this one, but have already got another one in backup ready to move on to. The YSL Touche Eclat Concealer. I'm in the shade 1 Fair. This is a really nice peach tone concealer that I feel does help with the dark circles under my eyes. Really like the consistency and use this every single day. We also have the e.l.f. Under Eye HD Setting Powder. Again, really love this setting powder. I am slowly coming towards the end of this one, which is great because it is in my project pan. There's not an awful lot left in there now, but really rate this under eye concealer, and again have another one in my backup drawer ready to go once this one runs out. Highlighter wise, we have the Mary Luminizer from The Balm. This is just the perfect tone of highlighter that I need for my kind of everyday working life, so we'll continue to use this one because I just don't need a blinding highlighter for work, and this is, to say, the perfect level of highlighter for me. And then the final thing is this Tarte blush. This is in the shade Harmony and it's the Amazonian Clay formula. We have now hit pan on this, which I think I was on the very verge of doing at the end of last month, but now you can definitely see the metal on the bottom of the pan. So this one's definitely staying in here, so I can try and get this one finished and move on to another shade that I have of these in my collection. And then we're on to the things that are kind of interchangeable each month. I will start with the foundations that we have in here. This is the Rimmel Lasting Finish foundation. This one has always been in here as a kind of backup because I'm usually trying another foundation. So I do like to have this one in here just in case the other foundation doesn't work for me. But I'm actually going to take it out for April. I haven't reached for it, and I do have another one in my collection that is another staple I'd like to put in here as a backup for the next couple of months. So taking this one out for now. The one that I've been testing is this Bourjois Healthy Mix foundation. I'm kind of on the fence with this one. I purchased this as it was compared to the L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation, and I do think it applies as nicely. It gives me the same amount of coverage as that, and it does leave my skin looking the same. The only issue I have is this seems to sink into the fine lines on my forehead, which I don't recall the L'Oreal Pro Glow doing. So I really like the foundation. It's a really good price. It's just not perfect for me. So I'm going to be taking this one out because I do have another new one to try. But for the price I paid, I do think it is a really good foundation and I would recommend it. I think I might just need to possibly try another primer underneath it to see if that can help. But it looked perfect everywhere but my forehead, but because it does sink into the fine lines. Then on to concealers, and I had this sample of the Benefit Boing concealer in here. This is pretty much all dried out, but I did really like it, and I found that I preferred it to the Industrial Strength one. This one was slightly similar tone-wise to my Touche Eclat one. It just has a thicker consistency. It does cover my dark circles, but it does tend to crease slightly. A lot of concealers do. So I wouldn't purchase a full size, but I would be tempted to, when it comes around to picking next month's Pick and Mix Me Feeling Unique samples, get another one of these so that I can travel with it, save me taking another concealer. But I've not decided what to do with that yet. But it's a good concealer, just not perfect for me again. The other concealer that I have in here was the Catrice Liquid Camouflage, and as you can see it's been well used this month. I've made a very good dent in that and I really enjoy this. It's a really nice shade. I do only use this to cover blemishes and slight problem areas. I don't use it for a lot of coverage on my face, but I do really like it, and I feel like it's a nice tone and covers what I needed to cover. So would recommend this, and I don't think it's expensive either. But I do have another concealer that I'm going to try out in the month of April, so this one is coming out. The other setting powder I have in here is the Laura Mercier one, and this is a sample pot that I've had for a long time now, and I don't reach for it very often. I do tend to reach for the e.l.f. one more. I think it's just because it's such a problem to get it out of here because the holes in the sort of sifter, it just gets stuck. So I'm going to keep it in for next month because I do want to keep using it, but I don't reach for it an awful lot, if I'm honest. So I don't know if I need to necessarily purchase the full size. Then we have the second highlighter I have, and this is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder in the shade Precious Petals. Really love this highlighter. It is the one that I use when I'm going for a more blinding look, not my kind of everyday look. And this is a really nice shade and creates the level of highlighter that I want. I am taking this one out, but only because I purchased another shade recently. But blush wise, we have, as well as the Tarte one I've just shown you, the Balm Frat Boy. When I first purchased this, I remember thinking it was going to be a bit too pink on me, but it's actually a really nice shade. It's not a kind of everyday blush for me because I like quite a subtle blush, whereas this, you can see it's blush, but it's not too overpowering, and I do think it is a really nice tone of pink. So I think I'm actually going to keep this one in for next month because I am enjoying reaching for it, and I do want to get my money's worth out of it. Primers. The first one is this small bottle of the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I did actually have a dupe of this from Aldi that I was using, which I did quite enjoy, but then when I used this one, I don't like the one from Aldi anymore, it's much too oily. The consistency of this, it just soaks into your skin in seconds, and I do feel like it does make your foundation last that little bit longer, and it does make it look smoother on the skin. As I said, it doesn't work great on the forehead with regards to that Bourjois foundation, but otherwise it's a really great primer and I did enjoy using it, so I think I'm going to carry this forward to next month as well. And then we have the trusty Milani eyeshadow primer. This is one I've had in my collection for a while and is a really good eyeshadow primer, but I do have another one that I've reached for a couple of times that I want to put in here in its place, so I'm going to actually take this one out. We then have the Benefit Hoola bronzer. I've again not been reaching for this an awful lot. I just don't seem to have been kind of going for bronzers as much as I used to this year. I feel like I have to remind myself to use it, but then when I do, it looks really nice. It's not a regular step of my makeup routine, but I am going to keep this in here because I do want to use it, especially because I do have another one in my collection for when this one runs out, and I just need to make myself use bronzer more. I am more inclined to use it when the sun is out as opposed to through winter, because I don't mind looking pale through winter, but once it starts to get a bit sunny, I do tend to like to reach for bronzer a bit more. I'll then talk about the eyeshadow palette swatch that this was on first. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. I don't enjoy using this at all. I really hate the smell of it. I don't generally notice that it does anything to improve the longevity of my makeup, but I've purchased it. It's a full size. There's quite a lot of product left in it. I do want to make use of it, so I'm going to put this through to next month again as well. And for the eyeshadow palettes, the first one we have is this Colourpop Ooh La La palette. This was one that was kind of on the chopping block, as it were, before it being in this monthly makeup drawer. And there's an item that I'm putting into this everyday makeup drawer shortly that's been a bit of a game changer when it comes to this eyeshadow palette. It's still not one of my favourites, and I still have a lot of issues with this palette, but I don't dislike it as much as I did going into this month. I don't have as many issues with this shade as I did, and I do find myself enjoying reaching for these coloured pinks at the top here. I haven't overly reached for this middle row because it's quite bright and I've not really had the need for that. I do have an issue with these two shades still being patchy, but it's definitely not the worst palette I've ever owned. I'm not going to declutter it from my collection for now, but it is still kind of on its final warning, shall we say, but I'm taking it out for next month. Then we have the Balm Meet Matchmaker palette. I forgot how much I loved reaching for this palette. I've used this on numerous occasions throughout the course of the month. I've predominantly been reaching for these two shades as it's just so easy to put this in the crease and outer V and then put this all over the lid and I'm done. I've used this combination a few times when I've wanted something a bit darker. I used this on a recent night out. I've used these as well. I think probably the only one I haven't actually reached for is this shade. I did incorporate this one in a look, but other than that, it's definitely had good use over the month and I've really enjoyed reaching for it again. I am going to take it out for next month, but glad to have given it a bit more love. And then finally we have the Makeup Revolution Emily Edits Emily Noel palette. And this is one of my favourite eyeshadow palettes in my collection. But I just kind of wasn't feeling it this month. I don't know what it was. I don't know if there was too many shades and I was having a excessively indecisive month. But I just found that I struggled to come up with anything when I was opening it, which is for the first time ever because this palette has always greatly inspired me. I think I just wanted ease this month. I have been kind of extra busy with things and my head's been a bit more all over the place, so I think that's why I was reaching for the Meet Matchmaker palette a lot more with the duos. It was just easier to get my head around. But don't get me wrong, I have used this an awful lot. The main shades I've been reaching for is probably Prayer and Cupcake, and I think Eve Rose a couple of times. But I'm noticing on a few of the shades, I've always had issues with this Heartbeat and Cheer shade. But if you can see, slightly on Pizzazz here and also slightly on Belle Violet, they seem to be kind of, is it called hard pan? So I'm having to scrub at them a bit more to get any colour payoff. And I did actually notice the same with Eve Rose. This used to be my kind of go-to inner corner one, but I found myself reaching for Cupcake more because this one still blends really nice, whereas I'm struggling with these shades a bit. So I don't know if I need to kind of scrape off the top layer and give them another go. And maybe that's been another factor why I've not enjoyed it as much, as I've had to work a bit harder with it. Still a really great palette and exceptional value for the £15 that I paid for it, and I do really enjoy using it, but I am going to take it out for April. 2 eye products. First thing we have here is the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. This is one of my favourite eyeliners, but I definitely don't love it as much as I love the Tarte Man-Eater, only because this does bleed every so often, and I find that I make a lot more mistakes with this than I do with the Tarte Man-Eater. I don't know if one of the factors being the Tarte Man-Eater ones I have are always the minis, whereas this is full length and I can't get as close to the mirror. I'd like to think that's not the issue, but I just find that I do have to work a bit hard with this and be a lot more careful, but it's still a really great eyeliner. Lasts really, really well without even smudging at all. So do really rate it, but I'm taking this out this month to try a new one. Mascara wise, the first one we have is this Too Faced Size Queen. The name coming from the colossal size of the brush. This is such a hard mascara to work with. This is one that I picked up in TK Maxx. I'd never heard of it before, and now I can see why it was kind of in TK Maxx. It's just so hard to get anything on your lashes, and even when you do, it doesn't create much of an effect really. So I've still got quite a lot of product left in here, but I'm going to declutter this from my collection because I don't enjoy using it at all. The same goes for this Maybelline The Falsies Push Up Drama. This is another one that I got from TK Maxx, but I had to stop using this about a week into March as it was hurting to use. It's got a plastic applicator, but I just found like it was painful to apply, which definitely shouldn't be the case. So I didn't enjoy using this, so I stopped using it about a week into this. This is another one that's getting decluttered from my collection. We then have the Wet n Wild Lash Renegade Mascara. Again, another strange applicator with a ball on the end, which I don't think really achieves anything. It's okay, but it doesn't really do very much. It doesn't give me much volume, it doesn't give me much length. And I have used most of it, to be honest. There's not that much left, and I have had it for a good while. So this is another one that is getting decluttered. Finally, we have the L'Oreal Unlimited Mascara. This is the one with the bendy applicator, which I think is a bit of a gimmick, to be honest. The wand on it is pretty good. It does give me great length, it doesn't give me much volume, but I don't find I can make much use out of that. I feel like I'm too gammy-handed when I use it. I just prefer using it straight, to be honest. Overall, it's not a bad mascara. I am going to keep it in my collection, but I'm taking it out for next month. Then lip products, starting with this first one, which is the Carmex Lip Balm. I've really enjoyed using this one. It is peach and mango flavour or scent, but it does taste really nice. It is a really nice lip balm. It's not overly greasy and it does moisturise my lips, and I've been sticking this on overnight before bed, so I'm going to keep this in for next month. Bullet lipstick wise, the first one we have is this Tarte Rainforest of the Sea, which is in the shade Surfs Up. It's a really nice kind of terracotta orange. This is one that is in my project pan. As you can see, I've not got much left. I have obviously found myself reaching for it more because it's been in here, so I'm going to keep this one forward for next month to try and get it finished up. The other bullet lipstick I had was this Smashbox Be Legendary. This is in the shade Mauve Matte. I did like the Be Legendary formula, but more the cream formula. When I purchased this shade, I don't think I'd appreciated it was matte. But to me, these are too matte. They are so drying. They drag on the lips terrible. I have to go over my lips a million times to fill them in. And I just don't enjoy using I just don't enjoy wearing this at all. It's pretty uncomfortable to wear, so I'm actually going to declutter this from my collection as well. I've just realised that I'm missing a lipstick. I should have in here the Gerard Cosmetics Hydra Matte in the shade 1995, but I wore that when I went out last night and that is still in my handbag downstairs. I'm not going to go to get it. I will try and insert a photo or a clip or something of it to show you what it looks like, but really nice long lasting liquid lipstick formula, really nice shades like a dark brown, kind of similar shade to this to be honest, but more obviously liquid lipstick formula. I will be taking it out for next month, but I do really enjoy using it. Then we have this Bite Beauty Amuse Boost lipstick, and this is in the shade Chutney. This is a really nice colour, goes on the lips kind of more, to me, lacquery. It's not, it doesn't sort of glide on it. Feels quite sticky. It does stay sticky for quite a while. I don't think it ever dries down actually, but it's a really nice shade and it does last a long time, but it wears down nicely. My only issue with this, it does have a bit of a weird scent. I can't put my finger on what it is. I'm going to take it out for next month, but I do enjoy using it. We then have this Bare Minerals Gen Nude liquid lipstick in the shade Friendship. I've had this for a really long time. This is probably my longest high-end liquid lipstick, and the formula's looking a bit sorry for itself now. It's gone quite thick and goopy, so I think I'm probably best getting rid of this one now because I've had it for such a long time. It is a really nice formula. It's really comfortable. It's a nice shade. It's just not the longest lasting. It does wear off quite quickly, but it does wear off nicely. It's not obvious that it's wearing off, so I think I'm probably best decluttering this from my collection. Finally, we have this Steel liquid lip, and this is in the shade Patina. This got buried in here for probably the first half of the month, so I didn't reach for it an awful lot, but I did use it quite a few times in the second half of the month. I don't dislike the formula, but it's definitely not my favourite. It's a bit too pinky of a shade, so again, not my favourite, but I will make use of it probably more as the summer rolls around, so I'm going to keep it in my collection for now, but taking it out for next month. So now I'll just go through and put back the items that I'm carrying forward. On to my selections for April, starting with foundations. I'm going to try this L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. I've heard great things about this. It's supposed to be a more natural look foundation, which is the exact look that I go for. I have gone for the shade 20 Ivory, as that's what I tend to be in most foundations, so excited to give this one a go. My backup foundation is another one from L'Oreal, and this is the Infallible Pro Glow. This is the one that I compared to the Bourjois one, but I think I do prefer this one ever so slightly. It does say it is for normal/dry skin and is hydrating, and I do feel like it has a bit more hydration than the Bourjois one does. So I do really enjoy using it, and like I say, in case this doesn't work out, I like to have a backup. Product wise, the highlighter that I'm putting in is the same Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder formula, but this one is in the shade Blossom Glow, and it looks more yellow toned on camera, but in person it's kind of got a pink shift to it, so it's kind of a champagne gold with a pink shift, so excited to try that one out. Concealer wise, I recently purchased the e.l.f. 16 Hour Camo Concealer. Again, heard such amazing things, want to give this one a go to see what it's like. I was really unsure as to what shade to choose. My instinct told me to choose light peach because the Touche Eclat that I use does have peach undertones, and that seems to help me. But I've seen about 3 or 4 people online who've purchased light peach and it looks almost white. So I went for the shade light beige, which was the darkest of the fairest shades, if that makes sense. So it doesn't look too bad, but it might be a bit too yellow toned for me, so I'll have to see how this works out. But I realised in case it doesn't, I'm actually going to leave myself short of a concealer. So with that in mind, actually, I think I'm going to stick the Catrice one back in just in case. See, I'm just comparing the tones. See, this is like a perfect shade for me, whereas that looks slightly more yellow toned. So I'm going to put this one back in just in case this isn't the right shade for me. Then we have an eye primer, and the one I'm putting in is the NYX Glitter Primer. This is the one that worked wonders with the Ooh La La palette, but I'm wanting to put it to the test with other eyeshadow palettes that I have to see how it works with them, because I have solely used it with the Ooh La La palette, so I wanted to give this one a go. Mascara wise, I'm going to stick in 4 for this month, 2 of which are new, 2 of which are old favourites. The first one is the Colourpop BFF mascara. I did just get the black shade, which is called Black on Black. I've heard mixed reviews about this, but I did want to try it for myself, so thought I would pick one up. The other new one I have is the Ico Sport Waterproof Mascara, and this is one that I believe I got in the latest in beauty subscription. This was one I wasn't expecting to get, but thought I would give this one a try, so I'll see what this one's like. And the two old favourites are the Clinique Lash Power Mascara. This is one that I've opened a few months ago, so just want to get the final uses out of it before it goes bad. It is a great everyday mascara. It doesn't give you a massive effect, but I say everyday wise it's really good and it is really long lasting. I never get panda eyes from this one. Then I wanted to throw back in the NARS Climax mascara. This was in my everyday makeup drawer a couple of months ago, because when I first purchased it I wasn't overly keen on it, but after having it in the drawer for a month I did end up really liking it by the end. Getting towards the end of its life, so I want to get my money's worth out of it basically before it goes bad. Eyeliner wise, we have the new Colourpop liquid liner. Again, I just went for the shade black, which is called Numero Uno. I did actually get this in the set with the mascara, where I think you save $1 or $2 by bundling them together, because I did want to try them both out. So again, I think I've heard mixed reviews about this as well, but really like the cute little sort of packaging on it. Lipstick wise, we obviously got the Tarte one that I've kept forward from last month. Then I've also included the Colourpop Disney Designer, and this is in the shade Ariel. This one is more peachy than I thought it was going to be, so I don't find myself reaching for it an awful lot, so I thought if I put it in here I'll give it a good go. Plus I think it's a really nice shade for spring. The other bullet lipstick I have is an old favourite, and this is from NYX. This is an extra creamy lipstick in the shade Talia, and this is a really nice pink shade, pinky mauvey shade, but I used to wear this an awful lot but I haven't reached for a while, so I thought I'd stick it back in here. We then have a Dose of Colours mini. This is in the shade Truffle. I can't decide if I like this shade or the shade Stone better. I think it just probably depends what mood I'm in. So I think I've had Stone in here recently but haven't had Truffle in. It is a kind of pinky nudie shade, leaning more on the nude side. So I want to put this back in here again to see if I can finally make a decision on which shade I prefer. Because once these couple of minis run out that I have, I would like to purchase a full size, because I think I do really like the formula of these. Final lip product is a Wet n Wild liquid catsuit. This is in the shade Rebel Rose. I picked this up when I picked up the highlighter, as I hadn't tried this formula and I think they were 20% off at the time. So I wanted to give this one a go. As you can see, I've not even opened this one yet. But at the moment, a lot of my favourite liquid lipstick formulas are high end. So I'm hoping to find a good drugstore one that I can fall in love with to save myself a lot of money. And finally on to eyeshadow palettes. I'm going to stick 3 in to replace the 3 that I took out. The first one I'm putting in is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette. I tried this for I think a week solid when I first got this, but then as I was neglecting the palettes that I had as part of this, I did decide to pause with the intention that I was going to put it in here. And say for that week I enjoyed every single look that I achieved. I did feel that every look was different, and I just really liked the shades that are in here. I kind of wish I wouldn't have bought the Born This Way palette and would have just bought this one instead. I should have known, especially because I do love the Naked Heat palette, but I just didn't think that it would be as kind of versatile as it is. But when I use this, I did really enjoy using it, and I'm excited to get back into it. So I decided to include one of these Makeup Revolution eyeshadow palettes that I got recently. I did get the Shell one and the Heart one, and this is obviously the Heart one. Probably a couple that are similar to the ones in the Naked Cherry, but this seemed to be the most neutral palette out of the 2 of them, and I did want to try one of them, because I say generally I do just wear neutral makeup for work. I probably will reach for the Naked Cherry more than anything out of the palettes I've chosen, but I do want to give this one a fair shot because I have only tried this a couple of times. And then the final palette is the BH Cosmetics Weekend Festival palette. I think this was one of the last palettes that I purchased in 2018, and other than I've swatched every single shade, but other than that I think I might have used it once, maybe twice. It was around the time that I obviously started doing the everyday makeup drawer, so just didn't find myself reaching for this. Now that I've opened it and looked at it properly, it does intimidate me slightly. It's got quite a few bright shades in here, so don't know how much practical use I'm going to get out of this palette. Kind of regret buying this palette, but I'm hoping having it in here for the month will make me not regret my decision, and fingers crossed I can create some nice looks out of it that are suitable for work, but I'm not too sure. We shall see. So that's it for the makeup I'm going to be using for the month of April. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried any of the things in here that I haven't yet. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already. Thanks.